My name's Gary Delaney. I'm old school. I was brought up the hard way. This David Haye, I call him Pretty Boy. Well, he ain't gonna look too pretty when I'm finished with him. He's getting right up my nose.
Welcome to Brentford. Gary Delaney talks a good fight, but how's he going to get on with the Belgos? His trainer says that David Haye hasn't got the stomach for a real fight, and this could be a genuine test of one of Britain's promising fighters. As for Haye, he is good looking, he is charming, but until September he was unbeaten. Then Carl Thompson, the veteran, systematically dismantled him, and Haye's reputation was in tatters. He's had one victory since then, but victory tonight over Delaney is crucial if he's to re-establish his national and international credibility.
Ladies and gentlemen, exclusive on BBC Sport, sponsored by Interpoker.com. This is the main event of the evening. Our promoters this evening, Evan Alderman and Dennis Hobson Promotions and Fight Academy, proudly present a heavyweight contest of 6 3-minute rounds between and introducing, firstly, fighting out of the blue corner. He comes from West Ham and wears the claret and blue trunks. He brings to the ring a 39-fight professional record, 31 wins, 9 losses and 1 draw, 17 wins coming inside the distance. He weighed in at 16 stone, 5 pound, comes to the ring a former Commonwealth light heavyweight champion, presenting West Ham's Gary Delaney. And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, across the ring in the red corner, wearing the all-black trunks, fighting out of Bermondsey. He weighed in at 14 stone, 10 pounds, comes to the ring with a 12-fight record, 11 wins, 10 wins by way of knockout, with just 1 solitary loss. Presenting Bermondsey's David Haye. This is appointed for this contest by the British Boxing Board to control the timekeeper at the bell, Mr. Michael McCann, the referee, Mr. Ken Curtis, and this is 6 3-minute rounds.
Okay, lads, you both know the rules. When I say break, you take a step back. In the event of a boxer going down, the other one goes to a neutral corner. Defend yourself at all times. Shake hands and best of luck.
Well, no eye contact whatsoever. Ken Curtis gives them their final instructions. Gary Delaney, who's going to be up against David Haye, and Haye was slightly delayed getting here, had a problem with the train, so whether that's unsettled him or not, we're about to find out.
First round.
There's some 10 years between these two. Gary Delaney in the West Ham colours, the man known as the Hammer, is 34 years of age, 10 years older now than Catford's David Haye, and there's about 2 stones of difference, give or take a pound or two. Delaney's taken this contest at a couple of weeks' notice, but vastly experienced. 41 professional contests to Haye's 12, and he's been there, seen it, and just about done it all.
Yeah, Haye really can't afford to take any chances giving away this amount of weight. It's a huge difference, it really is.
Well, Gary Delaney is carrying a pound or two. He tells me that he's Christmas pretty well, and he looks as if he's Christmas pretty well. David Haye had a career heaviest 14.10, and that's right up there among the heavyweights, well above the cruiserweight limit, where he's rated about 40 in the world. This is a good brisk start by David Haye, but Delaney shakes his head. And we saw Haye start something like this against Carl Thompson, and then it all went desperately wrong for him. Good solid right hand through the middle by David Haye. He's a very accurate puncher. There's no nonsense about him. A lot of people have asked 1 or 2 questions about his overall attitude in terms of his real dedication. He looks terrific, and he's got certainly all the skills and all the attributes, but the old 6 o'clock in the morning 5 or 6 mile runs, I'm not sure how he fancies them, Duke.
Well, it's been questioned before about David Haye's temperament and his training methods that he's got. You know, he's into this sort of new age sort of training. I'm not so sure. You know, I believe in there's no substitute for getting up at 5 o'clock and doing your runs and going to the gym and just working hard. But, you know, David Haye cannot afford to just stand in front of a genuine heavyweight and just allow him to throw big punches, because, you know, he will take a clip on the chin, and at 2 stone weight disadvantage, it will take its toll.
Delaney already puffing a little bit, the former Commonwealth light heavyweight champion. Light heavy was always a bit of a struggle for him. And heavy, he was in against men who really could thump, like Julius Francis, who stopped him. And cruiserweight, perhaps when he was at his very peak, was perhaps his best weight. Good solid body shot by Haye, and that's the one that stopped his last opponent, Valery Semiskur from the Ukraine. That was in Sheffield in December. Delaney, very wily indeed, loads of experience. Remember, he's been a pro for over 13 years.
Yeah, you know, he's looking okay at the minute. He doesn't look terribly gun-shy. You know, just trying to be a little bit sensible, which he has to be against a naturally bigger man. Lovely shot.
That was a great right hand by Haye, and again. And he just took his time, and Delaney stepped backwards and dropped the hands for the first time very slightly. And Haye's reflexes are so good that he spotted that and immediately he pounced. That was the best shot of the opening round, and as if there was going to be any doubt about it, Haye's won that one, and Delaney's got a bit of a bruised face, and Haye, as ever, unmarked and certainly unruffled. Hasn't tried to really blow his man away. He's taken his time a little bit more, and you've got to be impressed with that attitude.
Well, so far so good. You can just see the shots, just little 1-2s, not really loading up to any great extent. He knows he can't, because obviously against the bigger man, the genetically bigger man, it's very, very tiring.
Well, that was the best shot of the whole contest, and Delaney rocked back in those heels of his. Mick Williamson, skills not needed as a cutsman. Adam Booth, who's been with David Haye since he turned pro. Looks nice and relaxed, Haye. 2001 World Amateur Silver Medalist
10 seconds.
in the heavyweight division.
Mix it up.
Final instruction from Adam Booth to David Haye to mix it up.
Round 2.
Oh, I'm not so sure about mixing it up with a genuine heavyweight. I'll be more inclined just to attempt to do pretty much the same thing. You know, keep this fight at range. You know, try and get some rounds under your belt. Obviously take no chances. You know, try and hold the centre of the ring if you can, but don't be afraid to give quarter and just draw Delaney in.
One thing that Gary Delaney has never lacked is courage, even though he was down no fewer than 9 times at the start of last year in a WBU Cruiserweight challenge to Enzo Macaronelli. He never really gave up. That was a low blow by Haye. The left hand went in very low, and Delaney said, come on, you know better than that. Good old pro Delaney, didn't complain, didn't do a thing, said to Haye, come on, you know where that landed.
Yeah, he certainly did. You know, I spoke to Delaney before this fight, and he assures me that he would be going for David Haye in the second half of this fight, but he didn't feel that he had sufficient time to prepare for the fight. So you've got to question his conditioning.
Well, he had a couple of fights before Christmas, one November, one in December, so he hasn't exactly been inactive. And not bad results, lost them both. The first two, the very good Danish heavyweight, Stefan Nielsen. Was chopping right, good solid right into the body by Haye. And Delaney, whose face is starting to redden, shook his head there, that got through. Clever work by Haye round the corner.
Well, Delaney keeping a nice high guard and trying to hold the centre of the ring. You know, he knows if he wants to take this fight into the second half and see what kind of pressure he can sustain on David Haye. He's just got to keep it nice and long, box sensible, box within himself. You know, he switched to southpaw as Haye to try and confuse Delaney.
Well, Delaney's boxed southpaws and switch hitters before, remember? Just a quicker to the punch, the younger man, Haye, and getting through again with that right hand of his, back to orthodox boxing.
Come on, David, come on, let's go.
Well, he's just going to be obviously naturally more athletic than Delaney. Delaney's just he's a little bit of a plodder. He doesn't do anything great. He just plods and plods, but he's got an almighty big right hand.
With 30 seconds remaining, Haye looking for an opening. This is an altogether more composed performance by David Haye. He hasn't really tried to bomb the man out. He's just picking his targets, and he probably needs a round or two under his belt, and this is very good opposition. Delaney head hunting. Haye back to southpaw momentarily.
What Haye can't allow Delaney to do is to get close enough where he can hold him and maul him and just mess him around.
And the longer contests go on, the more Haye's stamina and fitness are going to be tested. Seems to be a bit of a cut somewhere on Gary Delaney's face. Yeah, one of those little slicing left hands from David Haye has opened up a cut on his right eyelid, round the corner by Haye. That's a lovely variation, going to the head and then the body. Delaney shakes the head as if to say, you didn't get me, but he did.
I feel that this is a psychological bit from David Haye, you know, not sitting down on his stool. You know, he's just saying to himself, you know, I want to stay on my feet, show the other guy that I am nice and fit, and I'm nice and ready.
Seconds out, round 3.
So Gary Delaney, the former Commonwealth light heavyweight champion, former undefeated WBO Penta and Intercontinental champion, and Southern Area light heavyweight champion, is marking up very badly indeed. David Haye's solid, accurate shots have been getting through, and Delaney now is puffing like an old rhino.
Well, this pace suits obviously Haye more than it does Delaney, because Haye's got quicker hand speed, so he can punch in bunches, and then he's got time to move away. It's not a frantic pace, or frenetic pace, I should say, like it was against the Thompson.
That's good work by Haye. Oh, that's lovely stuff by Haye. Good solid left uppercut came right through the guard of Gary Delaney.
Yeah, head's coming dangerously close there. But you see, like I say, this pace is a good pace for Haye, because he can step left and right. He's got time to switch. But you see, when he allows Delaney to get close, Delaney's just that much bigger. He can bully Haye almost.
Good little right hand from Gary Delaney. There's still a fair bit of hand speed in there. Hey, I think should maybe just try to move this man around the ring a little bit.
Well, he needs to just put enough daylight between him where he can pierce Delaney's guard with them lovely long right shots. Good variety.
That was a wee bit low. Delaney says, come on, you're not hurting me, but I think he probably is. Haye going for the uppercut. Needs to watch that left hand of his. All of a sudden it's dropped very low indeed.
Yeah, this is his David Haye's trademark undoing, I believe, when he drops that hand. When he gets his hands up, he looks really classy. Shouldn't take any chances, take nothing for granted.
Well, not even at the midway stage, and Gary Delaney's looking a little bit weary at this stage. He's 16.5 stones, which is just about the heaviest he's ever been.
Well, that would prove testament to what he said to me earlier on about not having enough time to get some of the weight off.
Good shot. What a peach. An absolute peach. And Delaney in serious danger of being stopped for just the 5th time in a very long and distinguished career. There's a rueful grin on the face of the great West Ham supporter. And Haye really now has been spurred on by that terrific right hand. 20 seconds remaining. Delaney down by one of the best punches that Haye has delivered as a professional. Again, certainly his best opponent, apart obviously from Carl Thompson, the man who beat him. Still the IBO Cruiserweight champion.
Well, considering this guy's 2 stone heavier, that'll tell you how much David Haye can punch.
Well, Big Gary grins, but he knows, and we know, and David Haye knows that was a gem of a shot. And again, Haye not bothering to indulge himself in the luxury of the stool. Little short chopping right hand, travelled maybe 7 or 8 inches. An absolute gem. Bit of tiredness there with Delaney as well. Completely off balance, and that obviously doubled the pressure, and it's been stopped, I think. I think it's been stopped. I don't think Delaney's going to go on. That was an absolute gem. And I think they've decided that Gary Delaney doesn't need any more. And David Haye has gone some considerable distance in pulling himself back up to where everybody thought he was going to be before he met Carl Thompson. It was a very, very impressive finish by a man who's been down the years very, very hard to stop indeed. And David Haye has come back with a vengeance. That's his 12th win in 13 contests and his 12th win inside the distance. He teed him up beautifully, and that was an absolute peach. Just moved the feet perfectly and delivered delightfully.
David, compared to some of what we've seen of you in the past, that was more measured tonight.
Yeah, that's what we've been planning on doing from day one, really, but it's just been my sort of ignorance, really. When I get up into the ring, I sort of forget what I'm supposed to do and just do what comes naturally, which is having a tear up. So Adam's drilled it into me in the gym, Adam Booth, and I think we've got it right now. I'm going to be a lot more measured and calculated, obviously, as you said, and you can get more performances like this, because one thing I've noticed reviewing my tapes and my fights is that when I try too hard for the knockout, my power pretty much halves. I lose my power when I'm trying too hard to find the power. So if I'm just relaxed and let it all flow naturally, then the fights will come a lot easier.
It certainly flowed tonight with about half a minute to go in the third round. Have a look now and tell us how you saw it.
I knew he was tough, he was strong, and every time I hit him, the shots were bouncing off him. So I thought to myself, or Adam said in the corner, right, let's not try and knock this guy out, let's just try and box this guy. And as soon as I started to relax, that's when the power shots start coming. So obviously got to address that, and I have done in the gym, and obviously the work's done there.
So where do you go now? British title, European titles even being spoken about?
Yeah, the European title's been spoken about, and Alexander Gurov is a very, very good fighter, a two-time world title challenger. And he's the guy who I really want, because I feel he's at number 2 in the world by the WBA, and I think he's a fight that can be made. So that's the fight I'm pushing for. I have to thank Ringside, sponsor in the third space. But everything's just been flowing real smoothly, and obviously
a lot more calculated tonight. He just slowed down a little bit, and he needed to, because he was in against a tough kid tonight, Gary Delaney. Although you got to say he was out of condition, there's no doubt about that. But nevertheless, he went about his work differently, slowed down, relaxed a lot more, which was good to see. Didn't rush things, because he knew he was in, as I say, with a tough kid. And I think at the back of his mind, he was thinking that he may have to go the 6 rounds tonight, and that's why I believe they took that fight over 6 rounds. I don't think they'd have took it over 8 rounds, because Delaney is a very durable kid. But hey, it wasn't a spectacular performance. I thought it was a fair performance tonight.
Steve, what do you think? I mean, do you think stamina is going to be one of the key question marks over David Haye until he finds himself in a really long contest against a durable fighter?
Certainly, that's what we all think. We all think if a guy can tuck up for 4 or 5 rounds and David Haye punches himself out, we're going to see a repeat of the Carl Thompson fight. But Adam Booth, David's trainer, told me something earlier on, and it's absolutely true. He said, Steve, take it from me, Carl Thompson has made my job easier. David's not a foolish kid. We've said that on here before. He's a sensible kid. He's got a good brain on him. He won't make that same Carl Thompson style mistake. And that's why, as Richie said tonight, against Gary Delaney, who, let's get it right, Big Gary was never the fastest light heavyweight in the world. And at 17.5 stone, that's what he was tonight, the old Guinness pie and turkey champion was very slow. But David took his time, found the openings, and the knockdown was a good knockdown. It wasn't a wild shot. It was a short right hand as Gary led out with a slow jab. You know, there was nothing wrong with that performance tonight. That was a classic 4 or 5 round performance. That's what you get in this business.
I think what also, he fought with a little bit of fear in his veins again tonight. And against Arthur Williams a few fights back.
When you say fear, you mean fear of failure?
Yeah, well, fear about the opposition, fear of the occasion. Yeah, I think the defeat against Thompson has done him good, and he boxed a lot more. He boxed better tonight.
Okay, and a quick thought on the future for David Haye?
European title fight in early March, live on the BBC. He wins that, leaves everybody in awkward position, not least us, because it's a good fight to go out on.